Oakland, California sure does have a homeless problem. Driving around town, there's homeless encampments all over the place. They're on the sides of the roads and dirt lots. There's long stretches of them on sidewalks. Some are in tents, some are in RVs, some are actual encampments with makeshift structures where hundreds of people gather into communities. It's estimated there's about 5,000 homeless individuals throughout the city of Oakland, but nobody really knows the exact answer. And the number of people on the streets in Oakland's nearly doubled in the last 2 years alone. A lot of that has to do with the high cost of living in the Bay Area. Apartments that were once $1,000 a month now cost closer to $3,000 a month. A lot of the homeless are addicts, but there's no real one reason homelessness is so high in Oakland. If you ask 10 homeless people why they live on the streets, you're going to get 10 different answers. Look at this one in West Oakland. This one is sort of sanctioned by the city, meaning they don't run them off. Sometimes it's easier to keep them in one place so they can monitor them and provide support. But this problem's impacting the community in a big way. Local businesses complain about losing customers. I mean, would you want to park near here to shop? Residents complain about homeless people stealing from them. Neighbors complain about loud noise and trash. Some say helping the homeless is backfiring. And the Oakland police are already stretched thin because of low numbers. There's many reasons for that. Vaccine mandates, early retirements, and being defunded. Now, I spent 2 days driving around Oakland looking at how run down this once proud city's become. And along the way, I recorded all the homeless camps I saw. But there was one particular homeless camp that I stumbled onto which put into perspective the state of homelessness here in Oakland and actually changed my perspective on the homeless problem in general. As I was driving around on the west side of town, I came across a huge makeshift camp made up of RVs and improvised shelters, something that looked like what you would see in a third world country. It was under a freeway overpass across the street from a public park, in an abandoned area of former warehouses that people had used to dump their crap for years. As I learned, the RVs parked here were actually the working poor, people who had decent jobs but still couldn't afford a place to live in Oakland. Some are even doctors who were new to the city and had to save up enough money to afford a down payment on their first apartments. But many of the people outside of the homeless RV park were people who had been here for a long time. Some were trying to save money to change their situation. Despite the way it looks from the street, this camp was well organized. There's even leaders here who enforce rules, and there's even camp security. It's a camp with community and pride and progress. And as I learned, a lot of the people in this camp are actually trying to make this temporary homeless camp their permanent home. Their goal is to get Caltrans to donate the land to a nonprofit they had set up so they could raise money to build a permanent village of tiny homes where they would then live. So they were squatting here until they could get agencies to help them with their goals. As they would explain to me, they'd be getting a job and a house at the same time, since their jobs would be building their new homes. And then after their village was built, their jobs would be managing their village. They're serious about it. This man goes by Ohio. He founded this makeshift camp 15 years ago.
We started feeding people out of my house. And then me and my wife ended up separated and I ended up in the streets. That was about 15 years ago. I ended up down here. I was the first one down here. The police ran me out of here.
You were the first one here?
First one here. There was no tents, no nothing. I had a black Dodge Dakota. I was sleeping in. I was scrapping metal at that time. And then I got sick from being down here and all this stuff. See, these people get sick. You get sick not from the COVID, not from none of that. It's from the garbage that people come dump. These aren't the people that's dumping this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah.
You can tell. These aren't the people that's dumping this stuff.
No.
Cars are coming in here, trucks are coming here, loads coming here, and dumping stuff here. And so the rat problem that we have are from people that are dumping. So I had a tent down here for a long time. And then just about a couple of months ago, they moved me into my apartment.
How long were you here?
I was here about 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah.
Living in a Dakota?
Yeah.
And you finally...
A tent and a Dakota.
And you finally got out of here after 15 years.
Yeah.
How did you get out of here?
Huh?
How did you get out of here?
Focus. I'm not a man. I could live on the street. I could survive on the street, but I don't belong on the street. None of us belong on the street. A lot of these people on the street are productive members of society. doctors, lawyers, dentists, secretaries, construction workers, electricians, plumbers, mechanics. All these people here have a trade, and they've been pushed out by these .comers, by how Oakland has took the rent control and put it on stable. So now the people that, because they're unstable, these guys come in here, they build these places, and now a studio costs $3,000. A studio? Come on, who pays $3,000 for a studio? A studio costs $3,000, so that's what happens when you get pushed out and there's no rent control. And Berkeley has rent control, but we don't.
So what did you saved up money and were able to get a cheap place? Is that how you got? Or
No, there's
city
programs. Project Dignity and BACS is a good program to hang with. And these programs will help you get out of here. As long as you stay focused, as long as you stay on their backs, they're gonna help you get out of here. And I stayed on them, and I stayed on them. I didn't want to survive, and I didn't want to live here. I didn't want to die here. I didn't want to die on the streets. That's what I didn't want to do. And so I stayed on their backs. Project Dignity got me into a program called Safer Ground. Safer Ground put me in a Days Inn out there in East Oakland. I stayed out there for like 4 months. Then my housing came through. BACS helped me with housing and get into the program. I got into a BACS program, then they helped me get into Abode, then Abode placed me into a place. These programs work if you know how to get into the system.
So given how much did you have to pay to get a place? Did the city pay for everything and you just...
The city basically paid for my first, last, and deposit, and I pay rent every month.
And the rent's cheaper than it would be if you...
Yeah.
What's the rent cost?
My rent is $276 a month.
And who pays for the rest of that?
I guess housing does.
Like the city of Oakland or something like that?
Housing authority or something like that.
How long do you get to live cheap like that?
As long as I pay my rent, and as long as I renew my lease, and as long as I do what they expect me to do.
So there's hundreds of people here. Why don't they?
Because they're still building places for these people.
Yeah, but you're not in a new. You're like in a Days Inn. Are you in a new place?
I'm in a new apartment.
Like an affordable, like the new unit.
I have a 1-bedroom, the Arroyo apartment, the Aurora apartment.
Like brand new. The city built
brand
for
new.
this problem.
No, no. The city didn't build it. A company came from out of state and built 4 complexes.
So that the homeless people have a place to transition to. Now we just don't have enough cheap places for all these people though. There's thousands.
We do, but we don't. There's a system. I'm gonna say this one more time. Where there's a problem, there's a solution. There's a solution to every problem. Just like when you go fishing. If that line breaks, there's a solution to that line breaking. You attach it to another line, and once you attach it to another line, you throw it out there and catch the fish. It's the same with the whole homelessness. You attach it to another line and fish and catch them and send them somewhere else. It's a solution to this problem. We just don't use that solution. There's a big solution. Oakland gets too much money for the homelessness for it not to be for these people. Man, all these vacant buildings, open up a shelter, open up many shelters.
Like right here.
Yeah, you got all this stuff out here, you got all these buildings, you got all these lands, you got all this abandoned stuff, and you talking about there's a solution. Oakland has too much money for it not to be a solution. There's a big solution. I got a big solution for this problem. You can help people, you can get them medical, you can get them back to the workforce, you can do all that through these programs that they got.
Mm-hmm.
It's no way that these people should be homeless.
So a lot of people say homeless people, they're addicts. They made decisions that they need to, if you want to create a situation where you can live like that, then you deserve to live like that. You made that choice. Like, I don't know. Is that not true?
That's all bullshit. You tell those people that think that 90% of these people are using dope, using drugs, that's a lie.
Or like you did, and then that's how they became homeless was addictions.
No.
So what percentage of the people out here in this place?
Probably 5% of people use drugs.
Used or use? Use
drugs, whatever situation you want to use. So
1 out of 20 is an addict. The rest are people like yourself that
want to get out of here. That want to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not, in this lifetime, they were pushed to the streets. These people wasn't addicts. These people didn't use drugs. Some of these people worked in the city. Some of these people work with the councilman. Some of these, you have no idea how much education is out here on the street. So they could miss me with that bullshit about the drugs and all that shit. That shit's a lie. All that shit's a lie. Don't believe the hype. It's not true. It's not true at all.
So you think it's just a cost of living problem?
Yeah.
It's just too expensive for people to live.
Who can pay $3,000 for a studio?
Why don't they just leave Oakland and go somewhere to Oklahoma where it's $700?
Well, you gotta understand. You gotta understand this. This is their home.
Yeah.
Most of these people were raised here. Most of these people were born here. They shouldn't have to leave where they want to be. I shouldn't have to leave and go to Denver. I'm from Ohio. It's way cheaper in Ohio than it is here. Mm-hmm. But I love California. I love California. I love Oakland, California more than anything. So why should I have to leave? Because you decide that you want to put rent control on hold and push us into the street. It's not fair.
Are they going to ever fix it? Or it seems
They're
like
going to have to fix it.
But it seems like it's getting worse. With the cost of living is not going down. I mean,
I just want to say something. To all you rich people that have money, we're the poor people that need to make you rich. So you really need to do something about us that are out here in the streets, because without us, you don't get no money. You're going to go bankrupt because you don't have that poor person working into your warehouses and creating that money for you. So you better really think about we all need each other and start doing this thing the right way, because without the poor people, you can't survive. And that's reality, and that's common sense. This man that runs your plumbing company, that digs your hole, and you want to get rid of him and hire some other cheap labor that don't do it right, you better think about it. All you Clorox people that own these Clorox, you got people that run your lines, that runs your warehouse, that you done threw in the street. All you people that own these cereal companies, you got people that need to work Costco's, you got people that need to run those forklifts, it's millions of jobs that you need these people to do, but you push them in the street, and now you're talking about there's no work, there's no people to fill the jobs. They're right here in front of you. These people are right here in front of you. Do you think
all these hundreds of people here would go to work if there were if they had a place
to go to work
home
and live?
To?
Yeah.
But they can't. They're not going to go to work living here, is what you're saying.
They can't.
Right.
Who's going to hire a person that can't bathe every day?
Yeah. So a lot of these people haven't showered.
Their nutrition is not right. They're not bathing every day. It's all that shit is real. It's real in this life. If you think it ain't real, come live down here for a week and see what is real. It's real.
Do you know, is there anybody that lives here now that I could go in and sit down with them and talk to them? Is that...
Go down there and talk to Moose.
Moose?
Go ask for Moose.
Ohio's going to take us to meet Moose, who lives in a shed, and we might be able to go into his shed and see what's going on. Oh, this must be Moose. Inside the camp, as you can imagine, it smells really bad. They have problems with rats and mud and everything else you think they'd struggle with. Some of these shelters in here are like little forts with rooms made of pallets and sheets and tarps. Some have living rooms and dining rooms and bedrooms. I have to admit, the kid in me would have thought they were cool forts when I was younger. Lots of the people who live here came out to talk to me when they realized I wasn't there to gawk or sneer at them. To be honest, they were just glad somebody would listen to their story.
Have a seat on something that's dry.
Yeah, man. Sit. Yeah, like, it's like, is that sun's in your face? Let's go like over here. Like, can you like stand like right here maybe? And then it's not in your face.
Can I ask a few questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, Didi.
All right, so I talked to Ohio, and he said that, I mean, a misnomer that people have is that people on the streets, it's their own problem. And then he said that you come from a good background. And I mean, how did you end up here?
The truth?
Yeah.
Drugs and being irresponsible, honestly, is what landed me here after all these years. Sorry, Didi, just a second. That's just the bottom line right there. I got caught up in a lifestyle that I couldn't control and landed here. But it's not as I don't want to say as bad as it seems, but I met a lot of good people out here since I've been out here. Learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about the community and society and how things really run and where the help is at. Learn how to build a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to stay here, but we're in the midst of doing something that could help tens of thousands of people across America, honestly, if things work out with us figuring out a way to help curb the homeless problem. And that's the biggest thing is housing, being able to afford housing and stuff. And really that's what we're fighting for on this piece of land that we're here right now. We're fighting to keep this so we can build miniature homes, affordable homes, and for the homeless people. There's other pieces of land around here that we want to try to get, but Caltrans owns most of that. So we're fighting with Caltrans and a couple of other little agencies and stuff to secure land and then develop it. We architect that's going to map out plans for us and stuff. And
so this may be future small homes, affordable for people that are homeless, maybe.
Yeah. We want to start off with the homeless because there's like 10,000 homeless just in Berkeley, Oakland alone, if I'm not mistaken. And then across America, you can imagine how many people are really homeless and stuff. No one can afford there are people who can afford to live in the Bay Area, but for the most part, affordable housing is not minimum wage, That's not going to get you affordable housing. And the affordable housing they plan on building here, out of 171 units, only 13 units are deemed affordable housing. And it's going to be for veterans and foster kids, if I'm not mistaken. Ones that have turned 18, though. And we're for that. We're happy that they have a place to stay, but nobody that lives on this site, and this is not just from here, it's from Wood Street, from this area, all the way up around to Target and stuff. There's about, I'd say, roughly 200 people. Not in the front, but there's a lot of them in the back still. That none of the houses are going to go toward, none of the apartments will go towards them. We've got apartments across the street being built. No one here can afford those, and most of them are, more than half of them are empty right now, and they're building more of them. But right across the street, you have a bunch of people that are homeless and would love to be in a place, a warm place, but they're not being offered to them anyway.
So, there's a misnomer that the homeless population is basically people that made very bad decisions, a lot of addicts and stuff. But you think it's an affordable housing thing more than anything?
So anybody watching this and stuff, you tell me about how COVID affected you. Hopefully you're still in a home, and maybe you're not and stuff. But there's a lot of people that, and everybody knows this, is not, it's a fact, that basically didn't work for 2 years almost. And then half of them didn't go back to work because now the businesses they worked for was out of business because it had no business because they weren't open the majority of the time. So anybody out there, there's so many people out here that lost their jobs or couldn't afford their rent because their job told them you can only work, from home or half the hours that you used to work, and I have a mortgage though, that so forth. No, it's not because of
It's a COVID thing more than anything, you think?
It's a accumulation of a lot of things. Some of the people out here, yes, they made bad choices and stuff. Some of the people out here lost their jobs during the COVID time. Some of the people had other hardships and stuff. It's not. That's another thing we're trying to express to people. It's not because of drugs and alcohol that the majority of these people are out here. Things happen, and if people out there can't understand or see that things happen to people in life that cause things, and then you have a bigger thing that happens that we have no control over, like COVID, add that to just daily life and daily living and daily situation stuff. And then think about the Bay Area and how expensive $1,800, if I'm not mistaken, for Oakland is the average one-bedroom apartment, $1,800 a month. So you're thinking $20 an hour is still only giving you $1,600 before taxes. Take out your taxes, you got maybe $1,300, $1,200. You still don't cover your rent in one check. You have a car note, you have car insurance, maybe you have just one kid goes to school. One parent works, or what have you. You got to wash clothes, you got to pay electricity, you got to pay garbage, all this stuff. Maybe your mortgage stuff. So you tell me that who can really afford
minimum wage won't allow people to. So the alternative thought is, okay, well, you decided to drop out of school so that you can't get a good job. So I don't feel bad for you because you made your own decision. So that's a theory that people have. How do you respond to that?
It's hard to explain stuff. I tell people, why don't you come down here and talk to some of us and find out what the stories are.
What's your story? Because you came from a good background, right? Like, you came from a really good background. You didn't grow up on the streets and shit.
No,
like,
not at all, not at all.
Middle class.
People make bad decisions. I'm talking for myself with this. I made bad decisions and stuff and got caught up in a lot of partying and didn't want to take responsibility. And by the time it was realized that I found out, jobs give you chances and stuff. And luckily enough, I'm a person that, my job gave me numerous chances and stuff. And I just fucked it off. That's me. I'm just one person just out of 200 out of this area. That's my story. So I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm speaking in general what I've heard and what I know of. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I screwed up. And now, lucky enough, I found something in this group that we have come together to do something to sort of hopefully make amends with who we believe in up there, and do something better than what we were doing before and stuff. That's all I can say is I'm trying to make up for it, anyone I've heard or anything, by doing what we're doing. And that's why it'd be great if more people come down here and talk to us about what's going on here, because I think they'd be sort of impressed about how far we've gotten with it and where we're going with it. It's not what they see.
What's your plan? How are you trying to get a job so you can get out of here?
I'm hoping that all of this turns into some sort of a paid job. Right now, of course, it's not paid because we don't have. But we want to create jobs along with the homes and stuff. There's so many talented people here that work on cars, who paint, who do electrical work. I'm a chef. They do so many different things. We want to create jobs here, and hopefully the outside community will solicit those jobs to promote more business and stuff. We want to keep it sort of here. I can go out there and fight and go back to the hustle and bustle out there, but why not try to create something here that can help other people in my situation and make it a little bit easier for them to get back into the workforce and work at a place where they're more comfortable and people accept them for who they are.
So like a nonprofit kind of thing where you could work for that and build affordable.
With you Monty, can you come here? Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. See, there's a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of people here and that you could talk to that you get more insight from, because everybody has a vision, and then for the most part, the vision is the same out here: is to create a small eco village, tiny homes with jobs, affordable, through a land trust, which people wouldn't have to pay a mortgage or rent. They would have to work, basically, for their state. And I'm not the professional on this because I'm not the one who brought the land trust to us. See, this is where it gets bigger. I was already here. A guy named Theo came and said and talked to us, said could he stay here? He wanted to do a land trust, secure the land, eco village, smaller homes, affordable, and explained it to us. We loved it. We liked it. So we started moving forward. We have talked to the people in higher positions. We're talking with Caltrans. We talked with Caltrans the other day about slowing down with evicting people and how we could work together. We were trying to reach Habitat for Humanity, because they're the ones that's supposed to build on this with a developer. Mm-hmm. We're trying to get in contact with them so that we could talk about negotiating, maybe working together and doing something more positive, because they want to build, and we understand that on some land that they want to build on and things but you're displacing and putting out 200 people, and you're supposed to be helping house people, not unhouse them in a sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So
yeah, how can you? There's 100 and something thousand homeless people in California alone.
Ooh, wow.
LA's got like 50,000, dude. LA County.
Yeah.
How do we build enough affordable? I mean, your plan's great. How do we do that for?
If you start, talk to Caltrans. Caltrans in California is the biggest landowner. They have land everywhere. Since I've been homeless, the amount of different places that I've been kicked out of throughout Oakland have all been Caltrans land, pieces of land, like all in the back where the freeway is.
Yeah.
It's all Caltrans land. It goes all the way up to Target. And
so Caltrans is holding on. So if we can get Caltrans to donate a lot of land or whatever they do, then they can build. Who's going to pay for the construction of all that shit?
Nonprofits. I feel like if more people knew about it and came down and talked to different people about it and found out the the bigger gist of it, people would fund it. People would help fund it.
No, I get you. So, like, a question would be, okay, so that happens.
Yeah.
Now you incentivize people to be fucking homeless because they're like, well, shit, if I'll get like a cheap place to live, if they're just going to build units for people,
Yeah,
then
no, it's not just going to be units. It's going to be a community, smaller individual communities in a sense,
Right.
that are self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And basically, like our community here, we don't have to go too far, groceries maybe at this point and stuff, to get too much of anything. We help each other. If this person needs this and he has it, we talk to other little communities and stuff like that,
What's up,
and
man?
they help us out. This is Monty.
can I show you? Can I record? Okay, I'm just doing a documentary on this and stuff. Hey, little dog, is that your dog?
Yeah, what happened to your...
The eye thing, you know, it's really a tooth infection now, so I got to go back to the emergency and evicted and going on to different places. This has been going on for at least 8 years of this buildup of
a push and pull?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've been pushing and pulling us I've been out here 7 years. And I came out here to die, but instead of dying, I found community. I really did.
You mean you came out here to die? Like you had no hope in life?
I didn't. I lost half my family members in 1 month, same month. My brother, he was violently murdered by the police. My father had 7 strokes. My grandmother, you know, they both just old age. But it was devastating for me. You know, I didn't know how to cope. And I made a bad decision. That bad decision landed me out here 7 years. But the last couple of years, not so much. You know, I'm trying to climb out now.
You're like nicely dressed and shit. Like, what do you do during the day to try to get out of here?
Well, so during the day, I'm online. I'm filling out resumes and applications. I'm speaking to folks, and I'm getting like community side jobs. Like I do a lot of things. My father instilled a lot of different skills in me. So I can do mechanics, I can do facility management, and that's the inner workings of it as well. Like I can paint, I can fill the place up, all those things. So
You're trying to get a job. Shit. What do you need to earn in Oakland to afford like the most basic place?
what do I need?
I get what does a person in Oakland need to make a month to afford to live here? Like
We need a team.
Mhm.
Honestly. We need at
No, I mean,
least
like,
5 people
money
in
wise.
one house.
Oh, you need to cohabitate.
That's the only way that someone could sustain themselves here. Single income doing it, you would have to make more than $4,000. Well, that's your rent. It's about $4,000.
It's $4,000 a month to live here.
Anywhere between 25 and up. You can't get anywhere. You can't
No.
live here for less than $800. $800 you can't. It's like,
There's no $800 a month rent in Oakland.
No.
It's like it starts 15, 16, 1700
Exactly.
and like that's way more than minimum wage, I guess, right?
It is. You won't.
Okay.
You won't. Minimum wage. You won't be able to pay your rent and eat.
Right.
Forget any other amenities, right?
Yeah. So if you get a good job, like will your problem be solved?
No, because I still won't be able to afford the cost of living here. But what I hope to do is put that money, the proceeds that I am earning from work, into a trust where we can buy like a lot.
Yeah,
like this.
that's what you're well saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I've already started 501c3 because people are going to have problems for a long time. It's the way of life. And those individuals get caught up in the middle somewhere, and they don't get the resources and the support that they really need to get over whatever the cause is, whatever the problem is. Like if I would have been able to speak to someone at that time, probably would have never quit my job, you know? I probably really would not have given up my penthouse place to come here. So here, what we do is we meet people where they are, with the encouragement to slow down their usage. We don't force it. We just lead by example, you know. And fortunately, a lot of people have taken up that. You know,
Like they're cleaning their lives. They're the addicts, or you guys are able to help them get off the shit.
they've moved on, and we're still here.
What percentage of people that end up in a community like this are addicts or former addicts, and that's why they're here?
I would say probably about 20%.
Okay.
So it's not as high as you might think.
Yeah, I would have guessed half.
Yeah.
One in five is probably former or current addict, and that's the reason they're here. The rest, just bad luck, decisions, life choices, whatever, lost a job, just...
The majority is loss of jobs, and the measure EE being replaced with measure AA, which
that?
meant that if you were paying $750 a month rent, now the landlord does not have a cap on how much.
Oh, the rent control.
Exactly.
That they allow that to
And that displaced so many people so rapidly that we had some doctors out here. You know, fresh, brand new doctors, but doctors nonetheless couldn't afford the rent.
So there were doctors living here when they first got here because they didn't earn enough to pay for rent until they worked for a few months and they could save up.
And so a friend of mine is staying with another guy that I work with. You know, I do a lot of handiwork, like I said. He's turning his homes into trampoline nursing homes. So the nurses come from abroad and they rent his space. But they're like $3,500 a room. A room that's less than 750 square feet. It's not enough. It's not enough.
So what do you guys do all day? Like you plan your future?
Well, yeah, we do that, and we really are trying to. You guys, you see what's going on here? Come on, give us a break, please.
Don't worry about it. It's all right. It's all right.
Okay, thank you. Sorry guys.
It'll just be like another couple minutes and we'll be done.
So we deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay, what are the questions?
Oh, we're just talking about, like, you know, all the questions that people ask about being here and everything.
Our youngsters, we try, because a lot of our youngsters have not been given the things that they needed for survival.
So your counselors out here too for some of the...
Of course.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people
It's a
that
family,
have
right?
mental illnesses here. And yeah, we are family. We look after whoever comes here. We don't ask them to leave unless they get violent. And then they can come back, you know, but they come back without the violence. The violence has to stay wherever, or they have to figure out another way to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right now, we're focusing on cleaning up the blight still. When we got here, we remediated a lot of it, but there were piles as high as that camper over there of other people's garbage. You know, this was a dump site. Everyone came here and dumped. So we cleaned it up, and now that we have, now we're faced with the thought of eviction defense. So now
You mean the city might kick you out?
Yeah, well, they might. They are highly...
I heard in Stockton, they came in with bulldozers one day without a warning. It wasn't as nice as this. But came in one day and it was leveled in the end of the day. And everybody, they're like, you got 10 minutes to get your shit. And they were like, and then they rebuilt it, but like...
You still lost your
No
stuff.
warning.
Right.
They're not going to do that shit here, right?
No.
Well, but it's possible. Do you know the damage that causes? I mean, mentally.
Well, I know, except you're already barely hanging on, and then you're starting over.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's think about you just moving, period. You got your job, you and your wife, you know, you guys are now moving across country. That process, just that takes, you know, and you got everything together now. You know, you could pay for the movers. It's still a daunting process. So imagine someone just going in and ripping all that from under you and saying, have a nice day, which is what Caltrans used to do. They used to go to the encampments, take what they wanted, put it into their personal vehicles, and chip everything else. The last car said, have a happy day, have a nice day.
Yeah.
And a big ass sign, have a nice day. The police sent us down here. So with amnesty, they said if we came down here, we'd be okay. They would not ask us to leave. So we're gonna try to hold them accountable for that.
Now, before my trip, I would have thought this camp was a bunch of vagabonds that you don't see very often. But the day before, I had witnessed the same thing at another makeshift camp in Stockton. Here, people were doing the same thing, squatting on land in a cobbled-together camp with the hopes that one day it might become their permanent residence too. So you're going to live here for a long time?
No, I don't plan a long time, just enough to give myself a house, man. My main thing is I'm 50 years old, going to be next month, damn near. I just want to be able to have mine. I'm tired of getting out of my house, dealing with the women, even the kids. Well, the kids can have the house, you can have the house, I'll get my own.
Yeah.
You know, so I was working, job, got hurt at work. Now it's time to just save, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easier here than sleeping in a parking lot, you know.
Okay, so after spending a lot of time witnessing the homeless situation in California and talking to people on the streets, I realized a lot of stuff. One thing I realized is there's a hierarchy on the streets. At the bottom of the homeless class status are the people who sleep in doorways or in sleeping bags on sidewalks. Then you have the people in tents. Above that are those who live in their cars and RVs. And at the top of the homeless pyramid are people like these folks in Oakland who have constructed their own ramshackle communities. They collect disability and government checks and use their money to improve their lives, not to support a habit, people. I know, I was shocked. A lot of the homeless people I saw in Oakland were people who I thought I would not see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought most of the people I'd encounter were going to be tweakers and drunks and addicts who stole for a living to support their drug habits. Now, while I did see a lot of that, I also saw a lot of community and progress and people with goals and ambitions. Many people in communities like this are far more self-sufficient than the crowd you see on sidewalks who can't form a sentence because of years of addiction. I went to Oakland with a preconceived notion of what I thought I'd see and came out with an enlightened story to tell. Who'd have thought? However, this would be far different than what I would see when I crossed the bridge for San Francisco the next day. That video will tell a different story. And by the way, the people at this homeless camp I showed you, they wanted me to tell you they're having a holiday party on the first Saturday in December. Come by and show your support. It'll be at 1707 Wood Street in Oakland. If you want to reach out to them, stop by the camp sometime. I'm sure they'll welcome you.
My plan is to develop this into a campus where we can develop different types of housing and live together peacefully and, be part of the neighborhood.
Did you expect that when you arrived here that you were going to become so involved that you didn't want to leave?
I didn't think that I would become an advocate. In fact, I didn't even really know what an advocate was. I just thought I was doing my duty as an American to, defend people and talk about rights. If you've got no place to be, you've got to be able to pull up on a curb and sleep or whatever, as long as you're kind of congruent with the neighbors. I mean, it's important that you respect the neighborhood that you come into, and but it's also important that they respect you as just another American needing a place to stay. I didn't anticipate being out 13 years. I came here 3 years into my homelessness, or living as a person experiencing an unhoused condition. And Oakland has been very generous and reasonably understanding. I know that they have concerns and they do try to figure things out, but you can't expect the bureaucracy to go quickly, and you can't expect the bureaucracy to be rocket scientists. If we go back and think about the things we learned in history class or all the dumb songs that we learned when we were kids, like this land is your land, this land is my land, those are hints as to what to do.
Yeah. Is the main problem, everyone seems to say, cost of living problem? That's why everyone's here?
Yeah, cost of living in the Bay Area is out of control. I mean, I'm not a rampant capitalist, but the reason why the country was started was to be able to be prosperous, live, safe and free, and, respect each other. And it's just too goddamn hard for people, especially in our neighborhoods, in our black neighborhoods. In the 60s and 70s, we had change starting to occur, and it seems like we've been thrown back into a situational pit. Tech has been the new gold era, and we just need to be able to figure out ways to survive. When I go buy food here at the Safeway, it's 3 times as expensive as going to a Winco 60 miles away.
So how do you get money every month to eat?
Don't. I have SSDI. I just started getting that.
So you just go pick up a check and...
Yeah.
'cause they don't mail it here.
No. I can live on $1,000 a month barely. But if it wasn't...
$1,000 a month? What do you spend, like medical and food?
I don't have medical unless I fall down or something. But I got to get my teeth done, definitely. But no, it's just little, things like soap, pet food, take myself to a movie maybe once, stuff, but I mean, everything I'm wearing, except, well, these I bought Walmart, go Walmart, woo! But everything I'm wearing was found in a trash pile. So if you eliminate those trash piles, you're removing our economy. And it's necessary to organize the piles, I think, rather than just say, oh, screw you, poor people. This is unsightly. We don't mean to be unsightly, and the trash piles are not made by us implicitly. It's made by the community of Oakland. There's people just keep buying stuff, and it's like, oh, this couch is so last month. They like throw it out, And also a lot of it has to do with the disparity of people not being able to afford to live here, and their stuff goes in the streets as they move away. So it's part of our sustainability. Unfortunately, we're not really good at organizing at this point, but we're working on it.
What, Maeve? Maeve. Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nick.
What's the name of your show?
Nick Johnson.
Nick Johnson.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm Maven Carter Griffin, and as long as you don't alter what I said.
No, I'm just gonna
focus
I'll
on
put
my
a little,
teeth. I agree.
I'm just gonna put a little clip of that, and then kind of show a little bit of this more, and then I'm gonna be at everyone's. Hey guys, so if anything I just talked about upset you or made you sad or mad, well then do something about it. Call your local leaders and demand change. Chip in and help those in need. Make your community better, because communities don't get better without hard work and determination. America's a great place. It just needs some more love and pride.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.
And are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. You can get my email in the description to find out how I can help you find your perfect relocation.